everybody, I'm Michelle from Vitamix. We're coming to you from Cleveland, Ohio, and welcome to our favorite time of the year, the Vitamix Holiday Sale. I'm super excited to talk to you this afternoon because we have so many models on sale that I know it can be intimidating when you're looking at the website, so we're going to try and break that down for you. Full disclosure, although we're on Facebook Live, we're not actually live today. So we are going to be able to present to you some models. We're going to do some recipe demo. And because we're not live, we're going to do a little bit of frequently asked questions at the end to help you in your selection. If you have questions while you're watching this, feel free to put a question in the chat. We'll have one of our customer care agents get back to you as soon as they can, or you can always call 1-800-VITAMIX. But for now, let's take a look at what we've got on sale. Vitamix Holiday Sale is starting at $50 off, going up to $130 off in the US and up to $175 in Canada. So there are some really, really great deals for you. So let's take a look at what we've got going on here. We're going to start with our two entry-level models. So the first one that I think is a really nice buy is our E310, which is our Explorian series. This is bare basics, guys. This is going to give you that manual control of time and speed, a pulse button, and then it also comes with our 48-ounce container, which I think is great, especially if you're someone who's doing smaller batches. So if you don't have a family and most things you're doing is single serving size, getting a machine that comes with a 48-ounce container is really great. And again, this is the E310. Next up in that series is our Propel series. And what our Propel series is doing is giving you the same features that we had here, but now we're gonna give you that option of preset timers, and that is a convenience function. And I always tell people, think about how you use your kitchen. So if you use your preset timers on some of your other appliances, then definitely pick that up. If you are like me, I never use a timer, I always use manual control, then this one wouldn't make as much sense for me as the E310 did. But we want you to get whatever fits your lifestyle the best. So those are two to check out. That's Explorian E310 or the new Propel 510. Both great machines. Something to keep in mind is that all Vitamixes are going to come with an amazing warranty, and they goes up to 10 years on the warranty. And that is because we believe that Vitamix blenders are going to last you for generations to come. So something to think about as you're shopping this holiday season is, my daughter just loves that sweater, but will she be wearing it 5 years from now? Probably not, but if I can put a Vitamix in her kitchen, she will be using it for years to come. So something to keep in mind. Everything will come with warranty, and you can check each individual product page for the specific warranty on any given model. Then my other two favorites in this sale are on our new self-detect series. So the self-detect series, what that means is that there's a chip in each one of the containers that the base reads and reacts to. And that is an amazing feature which makes our food processor attachment possible. One thing I like to say in the Explorian and in the Propel series, because they don't have that self-detect, food processor is not going to be compatible with those. So you want to kind of think ahead as you're selecting your machine to say, is this something that maybe if you don't want it today, is that something you might want to get into later? Because you definitely need to be in a self-detect series machine in order to take advantage of that. This pretty blender right here is part of our new Gold series in the A3500. This is the Sage, which has been a hugely popular machine for us, and then you'll see it has all the gold accents. That's a big trend in kitchen deco right now. So if you love the idea of gold accents in your kitchen, definitely check out the 5 colors that come with the gold accents. This is the Sage Green, one of my favorites, and it's been a customer favorite. This is going to give you 5, A3500s will give you 5 preset programs. You still have manual control of time and speed, and it has that ability to self-detect. One thing that makes that self-detect really cool when you have a machine with programs like the A3500 is that if I change out containers, so say I picked up one of the 20-ounce blending cups for single serving size smoothies, and I'm making a smoothie in this container and I hit smoothies, it will queue up the time that it needs, start in slow, ramp up to high, run its time cycle and shut down. But if I switch to that smaller 20-ounce container, it's going to change that smoothie program to be the right amount of time for that particular container. So that's just something that's nice to know about what self-detect is bringing you. Again, trying to help you get to a better blend. Now, they're included in all of our sales are the kitchen systems and the bundles. So look at these as if this is something that you accessories that you think you want, definitely there is a financial incentive to buy them as a bundle. But know that you don't have to, because all these accessories are sold a la carte as well. But one of my favorites is the Gourmet Kitchen System, which is the white A3500, comes with this low profile 64-ounce container, and then it also comes with the new food processor attachment with all 4 specialty blades. So this is really that whole idea of having a system that works for you. I love it, and we're gonna do some demos using both containers so you can see how that works. But if you think that food processor is something that you wanna get, then definitely take a look at this bundle, because this is a really good, really nice savings right now. So that is our holiday sale. And again, anywhere from 50 to up to 130 off in the US, up to 175 off in Canada on a multitude of models. Again, 1-800-Vitamix if you want to talk to one of our agents about it. Okay, let's move on and get to blending. All right, I know you're saying, finally, Michelle, let's get blending. Okay, so what we're gonna do today for you is a really nice fall recipe. This is butternut squash hummus. So hummus, there's quite a few variations on hummus on our website. Great resource if you haven't been there is the recipe tab on Vitamix.com. Over 400 recipes. You can search by what you're making. I can type in smoothies, or I can type in strawberries and it'll pull up everything with strawberries. Definitely check that out. But today we're gonna do this butternut squash hummus, and I like it because it's a great dip for this time of year. And it just goes to show that you don't always have to have the exact same thing. This one actually doesn't have any chickpeas in it. So what we have here is a butternut squash. I just roasted this. I just cut it up into little chunks and I tossed it with some olive oil, put it in 400-degree oven, let them roast it. This batch took me about 25 minutes. So I have my butternut squash that I'm gonna put down. I have half a cup of olive oil. Now, if you're looking to avoid oils in your diet, you can use water as well. I have 2 cloves of garlic. I have a 1/4 cup of roasted, just toasted sesame seeds. And this we're gonna use because what is tahini, which is in most hummuses, is actually ground up sesame seeds. I have a Vitamix, so I don't need to have the pre-ground tahini. I can just use the sesame seeds. I will say that you get a little bit milder flavor with sesame when you just use sesame seeds than tahini. So if you want more flavor, go ahead and increase that a little bit. Or if you want more garlic. The beauty of all of our recipes is that you should personalize them. If you find that you want a little bit more spice or garlic or sesame, go ahead and adjust those to your own taste. I am going to keep my tamper handy because anytime you're doing a thick dip like this, like a hummus, all of our machines are equipped with that self-detect sensor, so if it senses that it's working too hard or it's overheating, it's gonna shut itself off in order to protect the motor. If that happens to you, just know that you can unplug it and let it sit for about an hour and it should cool down and then start right back up for you. Hummus is a very typical dip for that to happen with, just because I think people see it moving on its own when they first start to blend, and they don't realize that it gets thicker and thicker and thicker and heavier as they blend on. So I have our A3500 here. I'm gonna go ahead and select the dips program, which is gonna queue up for what our recommended time is, which is a 1-minute blend on this. If I had manual, I'd turn it on in low, I'd quickly ramp it to high, and I would blend for that 60-second time period. And that's because we are using the sesame seeds. We want to be in that high speed for at least 45 seconds in order to really reduce all those sesame seeds. So let's go ahead and get this started. Got my tamper handy just in case I need it to help the ingredients keep moving. There we go. Now see, I needed to use my tamper the whole time. If you want it, this is really thick, which is how I like a dip, but you could also add more olive oil or even just a little bit of water if you wanted it to be a little thinner. I like it, so as a result, I needed to use my tamper to support that blend all the way through. So here is, oh my God, this smells so delicious. Okay, guys, so you see I've got a really beautiful dip now. And again, it's thick and creamy like a regular hummus would be. So we're just gonna, real pretty color too for fall. So that is butternut squash hummus. What do I want to serve this butternut squash hummus with? You can certainly do it with a cracker or a chip, but I personally like to put it out as part of a crudité. And for that, I have the A3500 kitchen system. So now I'm going to use my food processor attachment to make easy work of cutting up vegetables to serve with our dip. So food processor attachment works only with self-detect bases. So I know I've said this 1,000 times, but I just want to drill that in, Ascent or Venturist. So I'm going to go ahead and remove our all-purpose blade. I don't need those today. I'm going to come over here to all the different 4 blades that come with this kitchen system set. I'm going to choose my thick slice. As with most food processor blades, there's like a shred side and a slice side. I want to put my thick slice facing up. And we'll go ahead. And you hear it. One thing I like about our food processor is that it will, like with a lot of them, you have to turn and click to get them to lock in. Ours snap on just like the regular container does. So it's very easy to use for a Vitamix owner because we're already used to that clicking in top. All right, the minute I put this onto the minute I put this base onto this container onto the base, it knew that it was the food processor attachment. So now it's shut off all these programs. If I try to run smoothie or frozen desserts or soups, it's saying, no, you do not have the right container on for that. It is going to run at one speed, steady. And that's what's so important, especially when we're doing precision slicing like what we're doing right now. You want that steady, nonstop speed. And that self-detect is what makes it possible for us to have a food processor. So even if I turn my dial on the variable speed dial, I'm not gonna change the speed. So what I wanna do is we're gonna cut up some cucumbers and some carrots. So we're just gonna drop those in, and I'm just gonna hit the power on. How easy was that? And this is the one kind of a slice that you cannot get. We always say you can chop on a Vitamix blender, but you're never going to get this really beautiful precision cut that you get with the food processor, which is why we wanted to do that. So you can see I've got really nice dippers here, and it's just such a really nice, healthy option for the holidays. And the plate looks pretty and festive on your table. So that is, there we go. That is butternut squash hummus with crudité. Okay, for our next recipe is a holiday favorite in my house for sure. So what we're gonna do here is an apple cinnamon date syrup. And fruit syrups are something that is just a great way to use up produce that you have in your kitchen. You can do a number of them. There's a bunch on Vitamix.com in the recipe tab. But the one that I'm gonna do today for you has apples, dates, and cinnamon, making it a really great holiday recipe. So to start for this, we're just gonna start with some cold water. I'm gonna go ahead and put that down. I have an apple that we sliced, actually 2. I'm gonna go ahead and cut this other apple up. Now, with apples, you don't need to take the peel off of it. The only thing we want to do is just not get rid of the core, because apple seeds contain arsenic. I don't think they would kill you, but why put them in the blender if we don't need to? So we're just gonna go ahead and put that in there. So the only piece I got rid of was the core. Now I have 5 dates for sweeteners. We are big fans of using date instead of sugar in a lot of our recipes. You'll see that all throughout the Vitamix recipes. So we're gonna add those 3 medjool dates. I did take the pits out. And then I have a 3-inch cinnamon stick. If you don't have the sticks, you can use ground cinnamon, but since I have a Vitamix, I don't have to use ground cinnamon. I can actually use a piece of the cinnamon stick. So that is all there is in there, not very much. And I'm gonna go ahead and put this on. We're gonna use the dips and spreads timer again, but that's a 1-minute timer. So it's gonna start in low, ramp up to high, and then it's going to run for 1 minute. I'm gonna keep my tamper handy in case I need that to push those apples in and get them blending. Usually it needs just like 1 or 2 pushes to get it moving. So we're gonna go ahead and select the dips and spreads setting, and then I'm gonna hit start. Okay, it really does need that whole 1 minute of blending on high so that it can cut through all those dates. That's a lot of tough ingredients that are in there. And even just opening it up, you can see it's just a beautiful apple puree right now. But extra step for fruit syrups, you could use it just as is right now. But for a true syrup, we go ahead and move this onto the stove top and let it simmer for 15 minutes, and that's gonna allow a lot of the water to evaporate, and then you end up with this really beautiful, darker, a little bit richer, thicker, sweeter syrup. Now, that's something that I would use anywhere you would normally use a syrup. So you could use this on any baked goods, you could use it on pancakes and waffles or cake, or you could put it over ice cream is a delicious alternative. You could even put this into ice cube trays and freeze it for future use. I know there's a really wonderful strawberry syrup recipe on Vitamix.com that I use a lot when we have a lot of strawberries around at the end of the summer. So great, very seasonal recipe. It smells amazing, tastes delicious. So fruit syrups, something that you can do for easy kitchen hack. Okay, set change for our last Q&A on containers, because there are a lot of containers and a lot of people get really confused about how to know which is the right one for them. So what we've done here is I kind of broke it into the 2 general categories. Self-detect blenders must have a chip in their container in order to work on their base. So everything that isn't part of our Ascent or Venturous series is you'll know that it has the chip because it has this clear lid. This is our new clear lid. So anytime you see a clear lid, yes, that is compatible with your Ascent or Venturous machine. If you see the gray and black lids, these are the containers that are compatible with our legacy blenders, with Explorian, and with Propel. So within each one of these container families, but if I put one of these on the Ascent, it doesn't have a chip in it, so the Ascent won't recognize that there's a container on the base, it won't even turn on. So that's why you need to know what you have to make sure that you're getting something that's compatible with your base. Within each one of these, this was the original container, the tall, skinny 64-ounce container that came on the 5200. People complained that it didn't fit underneath the upper kitchen cabinet because it was too tall, so we developed a low profile 64. That is the container that comes standard with most of our blenders. But because it has a wider bade base, your minimum blend in those is going to be a 2-cup yield, and because of that, we offer both 48 and 32-ounce containers to do smaller batches. 32-ounce containers are only available for the classic Legacy, Propel, Explorian series. In Ascent, we just have the 48-ounce containers and the 64-ounce. But again, 1 cup minimum blend on those smaller containers, whether it's 32 or 48, they're both gonna do that equally well. One thing that I wanna point out is the ones that are compatible with both series. And these are some of our specialty ones. There is a dry grains container available for both series, know that. And basically that's gonna used for anything that's a dry result. So grinding flours, doing a spice rub. The desired output of a dry container is a dry powdery substance. So that's how you know that that's it. If you're never gonna make flours, may not be a container that you need. So these are some of the other specialties that are kind of fun. So this was a highly desired container for a lot of our customers. This is our stainless steel container, and it is only available in the 48-ounce size. It can be used on either series. You can see it has laser etched markings on the inside and the clear lid. So what's really wonderful about this particular One is that it's not going to scratch when you're doing hard greens in it, so you can do flowers on this if you want to, and it's not going to etch the inside of the container. You can also, it doesn't hold odor, so like if I do something that's very fragrant like a curry or color, you know, a curry soup will tint this yellow, and sometimes it comes out depending on how strong it is. Sometimes it'll leave a little bit of a shadow if you do something like that. So if you're worried about staining, this is a great container. Also that odor. So say I want to grind coffee beans, that odor of coffee will slinger in the Triton containers, but it will not in the stainless steel. So it just means cleaning a little bit less, not going to hold the odor. New for us this year were these colored containers. And these were brought out really for people who wanted to be able to separate. So you'll see these colored containers come in our food sensitivity bundle. If you have somebody who has a food allergy and you want a dedicated container to use only for them, that's why we have this option of colored containers. Another great use of them is, some people do dog food, some people compost. My sister makes goat milk soap and she uses a designated container for her soap making. So that's what the colored containers are, and they are compatible with both series, 48 ounces, and that's merely the color that's different so that you can have a dedicated container to whatever you're doing that you don't want to mix. Another specialty blade that I think is super fun is our air container, and this actually is designed to not blend everything into puree. So you can see it actually has a disc in it rather than a blade. And what this is going to do is it's going to aerate, it'll muddle, it'll whip. It does a beautiful job of that. Big popular beverage these days is cold foam beverage, coffee beverages, and this is the container that can do cold foams. There's some great video content on it on Vitamix.com if you want to learn more about it. But know that it's very particular, and that's, when you're doing those things, it's great. I'm going to tell you, I love it when I'm entertaining and we're doing batch cocktails, because you can do like a whole pitcher of, say, a mojito or something like that, or a fresh lemonade. Whenever I'm entertaining, I love this. It's a super fun container to have. But again, not everybody needs it. So we want you to pick what's great for you. If you're still confused about which one of these containers works with your base, you want to call that 1-800-Vitamix number, read your serial number, which is below the barcode, either on the bottom or the back of your machine, to the customer service person, and they will help you figure out which container is the right match for your machine. So I hope that was helpful. I know it's a lot of information. I know it's a lot of containers, but hopefully that gave you at least a base to go on as you look onto our site. Just know that typically the air container and the stainless steel container are excluded from any promotions that we do on containers. So just know that those two don't hold out for a sale, because you're probably not going to see one on those. So this question comes up, people want to go, what's the difference between Propel, between Explorian, Propel, and even some of our legacy machines? And all three of those families of blenders are not the self-detect. So again, if you're looking for something that you want to maybe now or in the future add on, expand to the food processor attachment, know that that attachment does not work with any of these series. So that's the main thing that kind of brings them all together, and that's to separate a scent from everything else. Now for Explorian, Explorian is intended to be our opening price point and is therefore the simplest. E310 is going to come with the 48-ounce container. If you want an E320, your main difference is that you're going to size up to the low profile 64-ounce container. So that's very basic. Now, if you want a little bit more features, if you want programs, then we move to the Propel series, which Propel is going to give us on the 510. This is 3 preset programs coming with a 48-ounce container. And if you go to the Propel 750, you move up to that 5 preset programs. And in that case, you'd get the low profile 64. So those are meant to be our like opening. One thing I do want to flip back to, just because it is probably the most reviewed and recommended blender, is the original 5200. And the 5200, the big difference you guys need to know about that particular model is that it is one of our oldest models that we've been doing since the 90s. and it's still a favorite among so many customers. The key is the dial on a 5200 is gauged 1 to 10 in all low speeds, and then there is a switch where you actually have to flip up to get to the high speed. It's the same speeds that you're getting on all these other models. It's just on the more recent models, we've calibrated that dial so that 10 is your high spot. So I always like to point that out because it's the one thing that makes the 5200 different. Also, 5200 comes with our original tall 64-ounce container. And the biggest feedback that we got on this container is that people wanted it to slide underneath their upper kitchen cabinets. And it's 18.5 inches tall. Most people only have 18 inches clearance, so it just does not slide underneath. So that is the one drawback of the original 5200 with the tall skinny container. So I hope that helps. Really, a lot of it comes down to, you'll see very similar functions from model to model, and sometimes it just comes down to cosmetics, which one appeals to you aesthetically. So hopefully that helped clear it out. Again, you can call customer service 1-800-Vitamix, and they will help you sort through it if you find that you need that. I hope you enjoyed what we've gone over today. Just a reminder, you know, a Vitamix blender is a wonderful gift. It lasts 10 times longer than your average blender, up to a 10-year warranty. This is a gift you'll give that'll last for lifetimes, honestly. And then also just a reminder for my current owners, you know, use that Vitamix recipe tab to create wonderful gifts that you can give on your Vitamix, whether it's the cookies or some of the fruit syrups, or even these wonderful little gingerbread cookie jars. With this, you're giving that generational recipe to other members of your family. What a great way to give some love in the holiday season. Well, if you have any questions, I'll give my last pitch for our amazing customer service team, 1-800-Vitamix, and they will answer all of your questions, or you can post them below and our team will get back to you as soon as they can. And be sure to follow us on Vitamix social media for recipes and other inspirations throughout the holiday season. Thank you for joining me today, and happy holidays to everybody.